What's up, y'all? It's your man, Dad Dude, bringing you guys another video. So it looks like I'm finally going to have to accept that Matt Corral is battling for the third QB spot on the Panthers roster. I held out hope for a while that they would make it an honest competition, give Matt Corral a chance to run with the ones a little bit and show what he can do. But he just hasn't really gotten that opportunity. He's had a few chances to run with the twos, but as to my knowledge, he has not had any time with the ones. And so that really just sets it in right there that they aren't even considering him to be a starter this year, which I can accept that. Once you bring in Baker Mayfield, I think they really should go all in on having Baker Mayfield as a starter, assuming he proves himself to be the best quarterback in camp. And that just leaves Matt Corral as the odd guy out because they're paying Sam Darnold all this money for this season. You got to let him compete. You got to give him a chance to show what he can do because you got to justify the contract that you chose to give him or the contract you chose to pick up. So that leaves Matt Corral battling for the third position. Now, I've also heard that they might try to trade Sam Darnold, which I just don't see that happening because who the hell is going to trade for Sam Darnold or give you any kind of substantial draft haul for Sam Darnold? Like, you might be able to get a 6th or a 7th round pick for him, but that's a strong maybe. And even then, I think the Panthers had to pick up some of his contract to get a pick for Sam Darnold. And at that point, yeah, sure. But at that point, you're just buying a draft pick. If you got to pick up Sam Darnold's contract or pay his contract to trade him for a 6th or 7th round pick, you're just paying, maybe $15 million for a 7th or a 6th round pick. I just don't think that's smart. And they could also cut Sam Darnold, but that's just dead money that they got to pay him anyway. And if you got to pay him, I guess might as well have him on the roster as your backup quarterback. But honestly, I'd be okay if they cut Sam Darnold because I'm ready to see him not play in a Panthers uniform. But I'm not David Tepper. That's not my money. I'm sure if I were David Tepper and that was my money, I'd want Sam Darnold on the team, at least doing something to make me feel like I didn't waste a bunch of money. So I understand why they wouldn't want to cut him after giving him all that money. Because, hey, that's not my $19 million they're paying him. That is David Tepper's $19 million. And I get why he would feel very salty about cutting a guy and still having to pay him. That wouldn't sit well with me either. But back to Matt Corral. If he really is just battling for the third spot on the team, it shouldn't be a battle. There should be no competition in these preseason games about who's going to play between Matt Corral and PJ Walker. I like PJ Walker. I think he can be a solid backup in the league. But Matt Corral is potentially the future of the Carolina Panthers. He should get the majority of the snaps in these preseason games, assuming that the offensive line play is decent enough where you don't think he's going to get killed out there. You don't want to throw him out there and get him hurt or ruin his career. But he should get the majority of the snaps because he is potentially the future. PJ Walker is not. We know who PJ is, and I think, again, he can be a serviceable backup. I like PJ. Matt Corral is the priority on this roster right now over PJ Walker. I think he should be the priority over Sam Darnold, but again, I'm not paying Sam Darnold $19 million. So I was really hoping they'll make it an honest competition and give Matt Corral a chance to go out there and compete for the starting job. That hasn't really seemed to have happened. I've heard that he's been impressive at camp and the chances that he has had, going through drills and everything. His arm has impressed. He has impressed people with his ability to make good throws with his release. The guy has an amazingly quick release. I love his release, but he just hasn't got the chance to run with the ones. So maybe it's time I give up hope and I just really accept that he's not going to start this year at all. He's not going to be given an opportunity, which I was really hoping he would be. But for a 3rd round pick at quarterback, it's not unusual for him to not be ready to start. He's a 3rd round pick. I think the Panthers picked him as a potential sort of starter for the future. You pick the guy with a lot of talent who maybe doesn't have it all together yet. In the future, you hope he gets everything and brings everything together and learns the game, become a valuable starter then. I'm okay with that. I was just hoping that Matt Corral would get a chance to start right away because I see the obvious physical talent with him. I think when it comes to physical talent standpoint, he is the best quarterback on the roster. But I'm not foolish enough to think that he knows the game right now better than Baker Mayfield. Now, I do think he knows the game better than Sam Darnold because, my dog might know the game better than Sam Darnold. But Baker is or should be the best quarterback on the roster right now, just given his experience and the success that he's had in the league. So that leaves Matt Corral battling for this 3rd spot. And it shouldn't be a battle. It should not be him battling for the 3rd spot. He should be the 3rd QB on the roster. But are the Panthers going to take 3 QBs into the season? The fact that I don't think they should take 3 quarterbacks into the season. It makes me believe that they might try to trade Sam Darnold. Maybe they'll give him away for, basically free. Maybe they're willing to pay half his contract or more and take a 7th round pick for him. I don't know who would give him that, but maybe they're going to try. Or maybe David Tepper really is okay with cutting him. I hope David Tepper is that free with his money. I want the owner of the sports team I root for to be willing to pay for anything, because if it's for the betterment of the team. But I just don't know what Matt Corral is going to be able to provide for the Panthers this year, being that he hasn't gotten opportunities in camp to really show what he can do. He's gotten a few opportunities with the 2s, none with the 1s. That does not bode well for him having an impact on the team this year. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. And if you are so inclined, while you're down there, hit that subscribe button as well. I'd appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.